accounts, you encourage or you emphasize isolation and governance, right? And in order for you to set up this multi-account environment, AWS Organizations helps you out with that. This is a service that allows you to centrally manage and set up a multi-account environment. And the components within AWS Organizations may look familiar with IAM, as you'll be seeing later on. Okay? But with AWS Organizations, you are able to leverage service control policies to control permissions for the accounts in the organization. So essentially how this looks like is that for AWS Organization, you would need to set this up. The account that created the organization, it will be considered as the root account. So this is where the all management takes place. Okay? Now in organizations, you're able to create organizational units. The organizational units, think of this as IAM groups, but this is now organizing accounts. Okay? Then you're able to add accounts to the organization. You could either add an existing account, or rather you are able to invite an existing account, or you can create a new account because AWS Organization does provide you with account vending machine. Okay? Furthermore, you are able to apply service control policies, which controls the maximum permissions that can be given to an account. Right? These service control policies respect the hierarchy of the organization, whereby this will trickle down to lower level units. For example, in this case, the finance will inherit the service control policy applied at the root level. And this account, the HR account, will inherit the service control policies applied at the root as well as the organizational unit. Now with that, let me also introduce to you some additional security services that you'll be able to leverage in the cloud. First up is the AWS WAF, or the Web Application Firewall. This is providing you with layer 7 protection that is able to filter out common malicious requests or custom rules. Most commonly, it is able to protect you from SQL injection, cross-packet sniffing, or filter out requests coming from a specific IP address. In this example, if an end user is attempting to send a request to our system, the AWS WAF protects us by checking if the source of that traffic comes from a blocked IP address. If it's not blocked, then the traffic is able to pass through the AWS WAF. But if it's coming from a suspicious IP address or an IP address that we explicitly block, then AWS WAF will filter the request from that IP address. Okay? Now, in addition to that, we are also prone, or rather, we are also susceptible from DOS attacks or DDoS attacks. Well, any IT is susceptible to DDoS attacks, and this is very notorious and very hard to track and resolve. Essentially, the nature of a denial of service attack is that the hacker is aiming to overwhelm our system so that it will be blocking legitimate requests. Now, this denial of service attacks usually not only comes from a single source, rather from multiple sources. And that is what we call as the distributed denial of service, or DDoS attacks. Now again, these DDoS attacks are very hard to track because they are designed to look like legitimate requests, right? And then really the goal of these DDoS attacks is to overwhelm our system so that we are denying serving requests of legitimate customers. How AWS provides you from these DDoS attacks would be through AWS Shield, providing you with a managed DDoS protection as a service. Okay, So you'll be able to combine AWS Shield with AWS WAF to mitigate complex DDoS attacks or filter out malicious requests. Furthermore, AWS Shield comes in two variations, the basic and advanced. Basic is free of charge and it gives you low-level DDoS protection. Okay? And you're automatically protected with AWS Shield Basic as it is already integrated with your services. AWS Shield Advanced is a subscription-based protection at $3,000 per month, but this would give you higher level DDoS protection, a 24/7 response team, incident log report, as well as an insurance whereby we will cover the expense during that DDoS attack. But again, this comes at a cost of $3,000 per month. Amazon Inspector is an automated security assessment service that is able to help you find any vulnerabilities and risks on your applications. Okay? So with Amazon Inspector, you are able to automatically conduct security assessments, automated in such a way that we have already predefined the packages and rules that needs to be done per check. Now, each check, Amazon Inspector is able to identify any vulnerabilities or deviations from best practices. For example, it is able to give you information as to open ports, unpatched operating system, or unpatched software in your EC2 instances. Giving you those findings, not only that, Amazon Inspector also gives you recommendations as to how to remediate or fix the security issue. All right. Now, some more additional security services is the AWS KMS or the Key Management Service. And this has to deal with encrypting data at rest. When encrypting data at rest, you would need to have that cryptographic key. And the storage of this cryptographic key is very crucial, right? These cryptographic keys are then stored, generated, and used through the AWS KMS to encrypt your data at rest. So really, AWS KMS or Key Management Service deals with the creation, use, storage, and controlling these cryptographic keys to enable you to encrypt data at rest. Amazon Guard Duty provides you with intelligent threat detection for the overall AWS account. It's very simple to use Amazon Guard Duty. You simply need to enable Guard Duty, and it will continuously analyze network and account activity. After the analysis, Guard Duty is able to detect threats and give you findings as well as action items to help you mitigate and solve possible threats in your AWS account. Okay? And with that, that effectively concludes our discussion on Module 6, revolving around security. So in this module, we have learned about the shared responsibility model, AWS IAM, AWS organizations, and additional security services, which are namely AWS WAF, Shield, Amazon Inspector, AWS KMS, and Amazon Guard Duty. All right? So before we do move on with our next